Okay, good morning. Like he said, I'm Todd Noles. I'm the Common Property Forestry and Wildlife Manager here at Hot Springs Village. I am a department of one, but I've got a great committee backing me. Common Property Forestry and Wildlife Committee is a great group of volunteers that they help me out any way I can. They're my backbone, and but I think he was wanting to touch a little bit. My job is I'm over all the common property, the forestry, spillways, dams, and I have to team with the Game and Fish Commission about all of our wildlife situations. I'm also over the urban deer hunt here in Hot Springs Village. We just had our deer orientation last Saturday, our deer hunt orientation, and this year, if you're a property owner, you get a month longer than a non-property owner to deer hunt or to enjoy the urban deer hunt. Last year, I have to gather information through the Hot Springs Village Police Department about vehicle accidents involving deer to try to keep the safety of our property owners is our number one priority when you're driving the roads. Last year we had 51 vehicle accidents involving deer. This year to date we've had 21 accidents involving deer. And what we want to do is try to lower that number of accidents down to try to keep, especially during the rut. Now in the rut of the season, I say the rut, that's when they go to looking for their girlfriends, and cars is the last thing on their mind. And they will that's when most of your accidents occur. That's somewhere's around October, November, the 1st of November, and that's when most of our accidents occur. Here at Hot Springs Village, we team up with a organization called Hunters Feed the Hungry, and the president of that's name's Ronnie Ritter. He's a good friend of mine, and they last year alone, just out of Hot Springs Village, we provided 5,000 pounds of high protein meat to needy families. When we try to make sure that through this Hunters Feed the Hungry program that all of our venison that we take out of Hot Springs Village stay locally. We donate to the Jackson House, to Faith Fellowship. I mean, all the food pantries that we give food to needy families at the food pantries. We also have partnered up with all Garland County schools, and they make this what they call a snack stick. It's a backpack program, and they also give those to the children at those schools. I talked to Ronnie, and he goes to the different schools and speaks with the superintendents and stuff, and he told me that several times he's went to schools and these small children get to school in the morning and they're crying because they're hungry. And we can provide those snack sticks for them, and that's what we're trying to do through Hot Springs Village, is partner with Hunters Feed the Hungry and with the Game and Fish Commission to where we can provide safety for our villagers and our guests, our residents and our guests, and also help to support our local community, outside the gates, and help them in an area in which they need. I've also been in communication with the Game and Fish Commission about bear. We've got a very I guess I should say that we've got a lot more sightings this year than we've ever had of black bear. We first started out thinking that maybe when the blackberries come on, the pokeberries come on, the black bear will move out of the village. Well, that ain't the case. They found too many bird feeders, and they like it. And so I have been in communication with the bear biologists in the state of Arkansas, and we've documented sightings. And you can get close to the bear. People have got pictures, and I've seen them posted on Facebook. They've sent them to me, close-up pictures, 15, 20 yards of the bear, and it's not scared. It's just laying there or it's standing there by their bird feeder. But it hasn't shown any aggression yet. So we've been documenting these encounters. If the bear starts to damage property, such as garage doors or certain things like that, or shows some kind of aggression towards someone, then that's when we will have to come in, go to an isolated area close to where the bear is traveling, and try to trap the bear and relocate the bear. We try to urge people to take in their bird feeders. If they put out trash cans, the bear's getting in your trash, to put an ammonia-based product on that to deter the bear to go on. But he's from what I can hear and from what I've been told, he's ruined lots of bird feeders this year so far. A few of them. Most of our bear sightings are around Lake Coronado, Lake Pineda, and Lake Cortez, up around Empanada, Empanada, and on across Cortez over around, and my mind went blank, I can't think of the name of the street. But anyhow, north of Cortez in that area, around Carmona, north of Barcelona there. So we've had lots of bear sightings in those areas, especially Empanada. Empanada, we've had tons of them, and over around Lake Pineda. So, but other than that, I've tried last year. I had to, like I said, I'm over the lake dams. We went in, we cut a bunch of the lake dams and mowed them. I went in and I seeded them, with 8 different types of clover, with some rye, some oat, trying to provide a little bit of extra nutrition for our wildlife, our different wildlife, our rabbits, our deer, and and our different species of birds. I teamed up with last year with the National Monarch Butterfly Association. I know some people think, well, it's just butterflies, but the monarch butterflies were going extinct. Hot Springs Village is in their migratory pattern. So we in our wetter areas on our dams, I planted some monarch butterfly, or it's butterfly milkweed is what I planted, but for the monarch butterfly, and I've got pictures of them using it last year whenever they were coming through. So that's kind of has been a success. But the deer that we have here in the village they're all over. I mean, they're everywhere. They've been eating people's azaleas and people, they feed them around their houses and what have you. But they're all over. And like I said, we do a deer survey with the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission. I do a spotlight survey we do of a night, and we're an overpopulated community. So this urban deer hunt that we have that I touched on a while ago, when you get overpopulated, you begin to start inbreeding. You begin to start getting diseases in deer. CWD right now is a disease that they have here in Arkansas. Right now, as close as it is to Hot Springs Village, is Russellville. So all the deer that we take out of this urban deer hunt will be tested for CWD. It's chronic wasting disease, but so far it hasn't made it down this far. It's North Arkansas all the way to Russellville right now. If you manage your herd the way that we're trying to do, and take the numbers down, you're eliminating vehicle accidents, and you're eliminating diseases spread throughout your herd, and you're eliminating your inbreeding. And many people walk their dogs, and they get around deer feces, and a diseased deer can cause your dogs to get sick and certain diseases that they have. So we want to try to keep the numbers down to better our community and keep a safer community. But I guess that's about it. I'll take some questions. I'm maybe full of answers, but I can answer just about anything you got, probably.
Do you have any estimate how many
Well, right now we're dealing with most of our sightings are we've got 4 bear that's being seen quite regular. We've got 2 adults and 2 juveniles. We've got one that's about a teenager that's over around Vargas Way in that area around Coronado Lake. We've got another one that's up off of Rieta that's he travels that regularly. He's a juvenile. And then we've got 2 adult bears that's staying over around Lake Cortez, and I think one was spotted yesterday over here between Cortez and Minorca on the walking trail. It's an adult bear. My wife, she works at CHI, and she had to fill in at the CHI clinic up by Cortez one morning. And she called me and she said, "Hey," she said, "you got a bear up here." It walked by the clinic and it got so close it opened the door. You know, it walked by their front door and it literally opened the door. So she was, I think she was kind of freaking out about that. But anyhow, yeah, it was an adult bear too, and it was traveling down toward the lake. But like I said, there's none that, I know it scares some people, but there's none that really has shown any aggression or has tore up anybody's property other than maybe tearing down a bird feeder. Now our hunters are allowed to start putting out their feeders. Our urban deer hunters that's participating in this year's deer hunt, they're allowed to start putting out their feeders and corn and stuff, which I'm sure they're probably going to get a bunch of feeders tore up. But that may pull the deer away from houses on out into the woods where that food source will be. But right now they've gotten pretty addictive to bird feeders and the bird feed, and they know where they can go get it, and it's going to be very hard to get them from doing that routine because they've been so used to it. And I'm in communication all the time with the bear biologist in the state of Arkansas for the Game and Fish Commission. He and I are the ones documenting these sightings in Hot Springs Village to determine if we need to go in and trap the bear or whatever. And he said there was a lady that lived in Mena, Arkansas, and she fed them dog food, fed the bear. There were 6 of them. And he said that she would feed them every evening. She'd put out dog food for them, and she passed away. Well, there was a young couple bought the house about a month later, and they didn't know that she had been feeding the bear. And he said that those bears tore their front door up, tore their siding off and everything else trying to get to that feed. Well, they had to go in and take care of them, but he said that's, a bear. He said that they have relocated bear and documented them with collars, traveling up to 50 miles in a week to get back to that food source. So once they get used to a routine, it's hard to get them away from it. But we are documenting the sightings and the damage. I've got pictures of bird feeders and stuff, and they have different phases protocol. The Game and Fish Commission, they have 5 phases, and right now we're in phase 2. It's what our bear are categorized as, and that's just bear that's not really showing any kind of are not showing any kind of fear of human, but have still not shown any kind of aggressions or any kind of damage to houses or property other than just bird feeders. But if it continues and people pull in their bird feeders or whatever, and the bear does some damage to their houses, or if they're walking their dog and the bear shows a little aggression toward that person, then of course it will move up another phase, and that's when we'll have to come in and try to relocate it. Is there any more?
Real quick, let me just ask this. If people do see a bear, should they contact you?
Yes.
It's TNOLES
right
at hsvpoa.org is his
right. And
contact.
if they see a bear,
repeat that email.
It's T Noles at hsvpoa.org. And I'll give you a card when we get done. If you see a bear, call me or email me, and that way then I can document it, You know, went out and took pictures of bird feeders and stuff like that. You know, we have to. There's a certain protocol through the Game and Fish Commission where we team up that we have to go through with the bear, and you know, it's determining and categorizing the stages of your bear that you have within your community. And like I said, right now we're at a stage 2, and that possibly could go up. Depends on, you know, how the bear act. All right, go ahead right here.
Is the information available to determine whether you're more or less likely to hit a deer if you have your headlights on?
Well, I think that he said that he asked if information's available if you're more or less likely to hit a deer with your headlights on. Of course, if a deer stops in the road, if it's crossing the road and it looks at you and you're coming, and you got your headlights on, yeah, it's blinded, and it usually is just. You've heard the old phrase, like a deer in headlights. Well, they're going to just stand there. Most of the time, though, your accidents occur. The deer really, it don't matter if you got your headlights on or not. They coming across the road, and it don't matter if you're there or not. They're going to hit you. Or if you come around the curve and one's just standing there and darts right out in front of you, you know. And a bunch of times, you know, we've documented cases where there'd be 8 in a herd, and you know, the motorist coming down DeSoto Boulevard and just single file line. There's 8 deer crossing in front of him, and you know, they come out of nowhere. That's why that as common property and forestry manager, I would like to try to get some more of a wider right-of-way on some of our roads where our trees have grown up into the ditches and into the right-of-ways, where your motorists have a better vision of your right-of-way. That way then you can see farther off the road, and you can see if something's fixing to pop right out in front of you. Where right now, you know, they can be hid and you get right on them, and they're on top of you before you know it. Yeah, go ahead.
I live on Ash Terrace Place. 2 weeks ago, my neighbor called and said there's a deer in his garbage, and he's got a car for it, and it's not available in the garage. Anyhow, we chased it off. Yesterday he calls up, it's doing the same thing right there.
A bear?
Yeah. So, one of your cars.
Yeah. I'll get you one of my cards.
Also, you said garbage can or something. You said put ammonia or something.
Yeah, you can put like an ammonia-based product. Like, I mean, you can go to Walmart. They have cleaning supplies. It's ammonia. It's got a lot of ammonia in it, and I mean, you take the lid off, and it's, you know, you can tell it's got ammonia in it. If you pour that on your trash, that's what the bear biologist suggested to me to give the information to the public. Just pour it on top of your garbage can and around. You can pour it on your bird feeders. That's the best way to deter the bear from trying to get in your garbage or anything. He told me that's what they suggest for people to do whenever they call, even outside the village, and they've got bear problems. He said ammonia-based products is the best way to deter the bear from getting in your trash, getting on your bird feeder. And I mean, there's several of them out there, I think. But you can go to Walmart or even Brookshire's up here and look at your cleaning products, and you'll see them. They'll have so much ammonia in it. You get one with a lot of ammonia and just pour it on your trash can, pour it around where the bear might be, and it won't bother it. It'll smell that, and it's gone. Yes, ma'am.
Does that work for raccoons?
I don't know if it does or not. For raccoons.
That's a Casey question.
Yeah. Go ahead, sir, right here.
I got a comment she asked me to work raccoons. I don't smell raccoons, but I know things like skunks, small animals, ammonia, you get rid of them.
Yeah.
I had a skunk one time, so he wouldn't live in my garage. And I told the county extension agent, and he told me, just get some ammonia and maybe put it in a bucket or something, just set in the garage, and that took care of it.
Yeah, it probably would work on raccoons. It'd be worth a try, I guess. Yes, sir. Did you have a question?
Assuming we do have a problem with deer,
Well, the Game and Fish Commission allows September the 1st to the end of February is how long they allow for an urban deer hunt in the state of Arkansas. And our numbers, we look at data every year as far as the number that we're taking. Last year we had 265 taken. 180 deer were taken in September to the middle of October. So most of your deer are taken in September and October, and very few hunters hunt December on, because you get up to October, most of your hunters that come in and hunt, they're in leases outside the village that they're paying to be in, hunting leases. And then you have muzzleloading opens in the middle of October, and modern gun then opens in November, and that's when they leave out to go do that, that they're paying on their leases to do. So our numbers decreased quite a bit. So that's why we cut it off at December 31st, because for non-residents, and given the month of January for members only, simply because our numbers have been dropping dramatically. From September to October, they just kind of nosedive. So that's why we kind of, we cut it off at January 31st, which the Game and Fish, when we fill out an application for our urban deer hunt for our community, they only allow from September the 1st to the end of February. So, we next year we may extend it until all the time that we have allotted by the Game and Fish, but this year we cut it off at the end of January. Yes, ma'am.
I've always, that's prime trail walking time, those months.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm always a little anxious about walking the trails
Uh-huh.
during that hunt. How can you relieve my anxiety with that?
Well, the rules state that you're supposed to be 50 yards from a trail, roadway, lake, structure. We've got a list of rules. And I urge the hunters, I had to give an orientation over here last Saturday, and I urged the hunters the way to, and this is what we want to try to do, the way to have a successful urban deer hunt is to be invisible. If I'm a hunter, I don't want to be seen. I don't want no one seeing my stand. When I harvest a deer, I don't want no one seeing it. I don't want no one to know I'm even there. And that's what we want them to do. We want them to find a place, and in our map, the common property is yellow. It's colored yellow in our deer hunting map that we give the hunters. And I stress to the hunters, just because this is yellow and just because this is common property, it doesn't mean it's eligible hunting ground. You got to use common sense, to go out and find a place to put your stand. But we urge them to be discreet, to be invisible, and to try to be out of the sight of the public. So yeah, you shouldn't worry about walking the trail. And as far as getting shot, our rules say that you have to hunt out of an elevated stand that's at least 10 feet high, so that way then the trajectory of your arrow is going straight down. So it's not, if you're way out here somewhere, you don't have to worry about getting hit by an arrow or anything. Yes, ma'am, back in the back. I seen you raise your hand. The breeding season for bear is around, they have their cubs around springtime, so the breeding season is around September. It's usually around September. It's coming up pretty quick.
Are there certain areas more popular for the urban hunters in the village? What areas are the best areas for them to hunt?
The best areas for the hunters to hunt are mainly the common property that we have that's in roads that's with lots of undeveloped lots. Like over around Razzo, I think it's back over here, Razzo. We have lots of roads that there's not very many structures on, or that there's lots of undeveloped lots on. And that's going to be probably where most of your urban deer hunters are going to be, is somewhere like that where they they're not going to get seen. But the thing about it is, deer are smart. I mean, they're really smart. Now, your urban deer hunters come in, they go to crowding our forest. That's when you see your deer go to moving around houses. They get where they're not going to be pressured. So there are going to be more deer around houses where hunters can't hunt. Now, you see outside the village, Hot Springs Village is bordered by hunting leases. And people, they move into the hunting leases during October, November. They go to pressuring the deer out there. They go to taking them. And these people on these leases, they go to just covering the woods. Well, next thing you know, Hot Springs Village is overpopulated with deer because those deer are moving in here because it's less pressure. So, but most of your hunters are going to hunt on some of the roads that you'll see the asphalt's falling apart. Some of them haven't even been asphalted. And there's lots of, there may be 15 acres of common in there with lots of undeveloped lots. And that's where most of them are going to hunt, where they're not going to be seen and where there's not going to be very much foot traffic.
Todd, is there a map that these people can see that show these areas? That yellow you were talking about?
There is a map that you can see. You can go to Arkansas Bow Hunters Association website. It's ABA, I think it's ABA.com, but you can Google Arkansas Bow Hunters Association, and it will have the Hot Springs Village Urban Hunt, and it'll have maps on it, and you can view the map that the hunters get to hunt with. And that way then you can see what areas are eligible, or basically what it is, it's our common property. Just like I told the hunters, our common property is owned by the POA. So therefore you can hunt that property. Now you have to use common sense to know if you can hunt it, if it's 50 yards from structures, roads, or whatever. But that just shows you where common property is, but that doesn't mean that you can put a stand up on it. That's what I told them. I said, you got to use common sense when dealing with something like that. Is there any more questions about any kind of wildlife or trees or anything?
Can they put on that conservatory?
Hang on just a second, ma'am. Well, that's they just, I guess that they just can't find it. I mean, yeah, we try to. I talk to many of the hunters. They usually, if they find one and it's going in a direction where there's a community, they will notify me. So then the property owner will know that, hey, this deer was shot way over here. Somebody didn't just come and throw it out in my backyard, So yeah, they notify me, and then I'll get with the PD, and we'll keep that monitored in case the property owner does find it in their backyard or something. We don't want that to happen by any means, but if it does, then yeah, it'll be up to myself and the police department to try to resolve the situation. All right, I think did you have another question?
Yes, are they allowed to hunt over on the conservatory? The John Cooper or whatever?
Oh, yes. No,
They don't.
no, they can't hunt at the conservatory. Just the only place that they can hunt is POA owned property, and that's our common property, and that's the only place that they can go. Yes, ma'am.
Are the deer active in the winter time?
Here they are. Yeah, not up north, but here, yes, you will see some. Now, some of them do go and they hibernate, but yeah, most of them, you will see them in the wintertime. We were hoping that this spring the pokeberries and the blackberries come out. That's the bears, they love them. And what we were hoping for was that once they come out, they would leave and go to their natural food source instead of being around people's houses and laying on their carports and their decks like a dog. And but that didn't happen with some of them. And I've got a picture of one that is up in a tree. It's one of the juveniles over here off of Rieta. Lady lived at 24 Rieta Way. She sent me a picture. And this bear was up a tree right over the top of the door, the front door. I mean, like literally you walk out of the front door of her house and this bear's just right above you. So, you know, which he come down and he was scared and stuff. He didn't try to act aggressive. But anyhow, yeah, you will see them in the wintertime here. There is, we've gotten more bear this year than we've ever had in the village as far as sightings. And if it continues and it continues to grow, then yes, we will be forced to do something about it. That was brung up in the urban deer hunt even by the Game and Fish Commission. In Fairfield Bay urban deer hunt, when bear season is open, which is in the fall of the year, it begins in November, they're allowed in their urban deer hunt to take a bear. And so they asked me before the orientation, said, what do you want to do about the village, being that there's so many bear sightings? I said, no, we don't want to touch the bear. You know, they're going to see them, but we're not going to take a bear. That's illegal here in the village, so our urban deer hunters will not take a bear. If they do, then it'll be pretty bad on them, because you know, the Game and Fish will get involved, and the way that works in here is, if you take a bear in here out of our urban deer hunt after we've kind of made a rule to protect the bear, then it's kind of like taking an endangered species. So you're talking about a $10,000 fine, maybe some jail sentence, and the loss of hunting privileges for 5 to 10 years. So yeah, they won't take a bear.
I'm like, if you're walking along the trail and get bug bite on there, what's your recommendation to do?
Well, if you make some noise or kind of, you know, just shuffle your foot at it and clap your hands and stuff like that, it'll take off. If it don't, call me quickly. But usually that's what'll happen. Now, the only time that you might encounter a bear that acts a little bit aggressive is a mama bear when she's got little cubs. And all she is, she's just protective of her babies. And but hopefully, you know, we got lots of walkers here in the village, and I hope that doesn't come up and don't present itself. But usually if you clap your hands at them, even a mama bear, you know, cubs, she may grunt at you, but she's going to leave there. She's going to try to get those cubs to safety and away from whatever she don't know you. So she's going to get them out of there. But now she may grunt or something at you and let you know, hey, you don't come no closer. Just kind of stop, clap your hands and stuff. Don't try to approach them, and she'll get out of there. But yeah, if you encounter one, just make some racket, scream at it, holler at it, clap your hands, and shuffle your feet on the ground, and it'll take off. They're scared of you, as scareder of you than you are of it. But some of them may not appear that way when people's taking pictures of them 10 or 15 foot away from them. But when they go to clapping their hands and stuff, then they usually get out of there pretty quick. Yes, ma'am.
The National Park Service says, what to do in a bear attack, do not push your slower friends down in attempts of saving yourself.
There you go. I guess if you walk with somebody like me that's overweight, so that way you can outrun them.
Push you down.
Yeah, or push them down. Is there any more questions? Yes, ma'am, over here. Yeah, that's right. And I know this young lady right over here, by the way. That's Ann Shears. She's on my committee. Hey, she's a great lady and a lot of help to me. But she's right. Your bow, you know, it takes a lot to make a good kill shot on a bear, and you know, that's another reason that it's kind of unethical. But in Fairfield Bay, they do allow it. Is what J.D. Crawford told me. But we're not gonna allow it here in the village. And I think there was another question over here from someone. Right here.
This thing is saying the raccoon in your trash can, what about a chipmunk in your garage?
Yeah. I don't know much about chipmunks, but I know they can be kind of pesky. I guess what I would do is call the critter getter. He's pretty good. He does a lot of help for me as far as beavers. So that's another thing we've reduced the population of quite a bit here in the village is our beaver population, and we've reduced that quite a bit. And they had a lot of our streams and our waterways were blocked and causing a lot of flooding when we got a lot of rain here in the village. And but we've opened a bunch of that up, and we've reduced that population tremendously. So we're looking ahead on that. So we finally caught up with them and got ahead of them. Is there any more questions? I guess not. Well, I guess I will turn it back over to you. Thank you for coming out. And if you need anything at all, if I can help you in any way, or if you have any questions, please just call the POA Public Works Department. They'll get you in touch with me. I'll come out. I'll help you any way I can, and we'll try to get whatever it is taken care of. Thank you, guys. Y'all have a great day.
I want to thank Todd for coming out and talking to you today. I think probably you got as much information as you have gotten from Casey, although I'm going to still have the Zoom call with her. But hopefully, you've got some information about our critters. And now you've seen Todd. If you haven't ever met Todd, he's a great guy. He's been here 25 years. He's a graduate of Jessieville High School. And he knows probably as much about what's going on in the woods out here as anybody does. So it's Noles is his last name, T. Noles at hsvpoa.org. And he'd be glad to get back with you, and we appreciate the work he does. He's got his hands full, but let's hope that everybody's safe out there. And thank you for coming out today. We appreciate it, and we look forward to the next event. Stay tuned.